Hey everybody, it's Incarta 95 here. I'm here with Retail Archaeology, and this is, I think, the third time I try to do an episode of Incarta Talks. The first episode, anyway, and it was all messed up. But I think we have the levels right now. And hi, Retail Archaeology, are you there?
I'm here.
How are you tonight? It's Sunday night.
I am doing well. I'm about 65% cheeseburger and french fries right now, but but we just got back from dinner not too long ago, so I stuffed myself.
That's amazing. I just had some leftover Mexican lasagna from last night, which is really good. You put tortillas down instead of noodles, and you put some beef, and then another layer of tortillas, and then some salsa and cheese. Anyway.
That sounds fantastic. My mom actually has a similar recipe that I grew up eating,
Oh,
so
really? It's very good. Yeah,
yeah,
my
yeah, it's really
fiance,
good.
she made it last night, and like we ate half the pan, and yeah, it's delicious. Um, so can I call you? What should I call you? Eric or Retail Archaeology? What should I call you?
Oh, you can just call me Eric. That's fine.
Okay, Eric. My name is Sterling in Carta 95. Um, Eric, when did you start? You're getting big now on YouTube. So when did you start doing? Please tell the people what you do on YouTube. What kind of you know films or whatever I guess you could call it, and just when did you start doing it?
So, I think the current channel I kind of have two YouTube channels. It's kind of a funny story. The one
You have
that's
two?
yeah, I do have two. I actually started doing YouTube, gosh, probably 4 years, 4-ish years ago, doing like retro game videos and stuff like that.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I need to check that out.
Yeah, so that's my first channel, but it's kind of become like now it's become my second channel, even though it was technically the first one that
Yeah,
I ever
exactly.
started. But um, in the middle of doing that channel, I had a friend that came over one night for dinner, and he had mentioned to me about a mall that we used to go to, growing up, called Fiesta Mall in Mesa, Arizona. And he said to me, hey, have you been to Fiesta Mall and like anytime recently? And I said, it's probably been, a dozen years since I've been there.
Yeah.
So he said, you've got to check it out. He's like, it's the craziest thing. It's empty. There's like maybe 8 or 9 stores, going on in there, that are still open. And it's very bizarre. So I was like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. I'll go check it out. And so I took a trip there, and it was bizarre. And that was the first time I can say that I'd ever been in what everybody calls a dead mall.
Yeah.
Um, so my first instinct was, well, I'm going to pull my phone out and start taking pictures because this is weird. I've never seen anything like this before. So I started doing a little bit of like, taking pictures and filming and stuff. Actually got yelled at by a security guard while I was doing that, but he didn't escort us out. So after he yelled at us, no pictures, no filming or whatever, if I pulled my phone back out and started doing it again,
Yeah.
just a little bit more incognito. And then I got home, and I sat on all of that, footage and pictures and everything for like 2 or 3 months, because to me it was pretty compelling stuff, but I didn't know what to do with it. And I thought, I should make a YouTube video out of it, but it didn't really fit like the theme of my channel. Like, it didn't make sense. So I was
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah, I hear you.
I'll start up a second channel, and I'll throw it on there. And that was the Retail Archaeology channel. That's actually a name that my buddy and I came up with when we were having beers in the backyard one night. So I did that, and the video did really well, like better than any video I had done on my other channel.
So you're like,
Um,
maybe I'm onto something here.
right. So I started doing some research and finding out that this is more of a common thing than what I thought, and it just kind of went from there. And then I've gone to, I've filmed malls, and I do, busy and dead malls now, because I think it's I grew up as a mall rat as a kid, so
Yeah, same here.
yeah, I just enjoy, documenting them. And then I started reading about, oh, Sears is doing awful, and that's weird because I grew up going to Sears as a kid, and Toys R Us and things like that. So then I kind of got more into like directly doing videos on the retailers and not just the malls themselves. Radio Shack
Yeah,
is
for
another one
sure.
I did. So, and then yeah, the channel really started to blow up, and so that kind of became my main focus on YouTube, and I kind of let the other the other channel kind of go by the wayside. But I've actually started it back up again. I've been doing some more because I miss doing it, like retro gaming stuff. And I actually do a live stream on there once a week called Welcome to Siesta Mall. And I actually, once a week I do an episode where I on a live stream play the game Mall Tycoon, and
Okay, yeah.
me and the viewers just have fun building goofy stores and doing dumb crap with it and seeing seeing what we can do. So
See, that's funny because like um my brother, well, my whole family, every Friday night we would go to the mall and eat and shop, go to Radio Shack, go over to the hobby store, which was called Leisure World, and my dad would buy a model car and we'd do, the model together that night at the table. And like people, I think more and more are missing the mall, you know what I mean? Because
yeah,
yeah, you can order like, you know, I don't know, almonds over Alexa right now, and it's there in 2 days. But there's no more everyone going to the mall, you know. And it's funny because my brother, he actually cleans the mall at night, where we're from in North Bay, Ontario. And but he cleans the popular mall, the mall that's still going right now. But then when he's done, he goes to the mall that we grew up in, and it's dead, and he buys like an A&W burger, like they still have an outpost there, you know what I mean? And it's just funny because he takes pictures of like this dead mall that it was banging when we were kids, you know what I mean? Arcade, we got our haircuts there every Friday, not every Friday, but like it just it's kind of I think we're in the same we must be in the same age group. I'm almost pushing 40. And like the thing is, like there's a lot of people that miss that the mall, you know what I mean? Obviously.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I missed it for sure, and I can admit, there was a good chunk of my life where I didn't go to the mall. Probably my late
Same here,
20s,
yeah.
early 30s, but. I'm one of those people. There's certain things that I'll buy them online because it's easy. I'll buy it online because it's easy. But I really hate buying like clothes online or shoes. I'd rather go, touch it, feel it, try it on, that kind of thing. So, and it is weird because it feels like there's becoming less and less places to do that. And also there was just the social aspect of it.
Well,
When I
that's
was
it. That's it. There's a social thing for me. Like when we were young, everyone would just you'd meet up there at the mall, right?
Right, exactly. We actually, I made the joke. Fiesta Mall was one that I went to quite a bit, like in high school and stuff. And so that was kind of like where we would meet up at, like on a Friday or Saturday night, and then go do whatever from there. Usually get something in the food court or whatever, go poke around the arcade for a bit, and then, go to somebody's party or whatever. And there were a few times where we got kicked out of the mall for for being obnoxious. So I kind of make the joke now because I've done a few videos on that mall. The last one that we did, I had a friend that was helping me film, because I just take somebody with me as a lookout, just because it's easier to have a second person.
Hmm.
And I said to him, hey, I want to get kicked out of here, one last time before it shuts its, just for old time's sake, just before it shuts its doors forever. That was the last trip we took there, and sure enough, so I was a little bit more obvious about my filming, and we got complained to by a security guard, and he walked us out. And I was like, that felt right. That was nice to
Oh, for sure. And
get.
you know what? It's you probably the pressure's on too, I think, for security guards when they know like the mall is on its last legs. So, there's not much going on. So if they see someone filming, it's they're gonna kick you out, I guess. But
Yeah, it's been a lot easier to document some of the busier malls than it is the dead ones.
for
It's always
sure,
the
yeah.
dead ones that we have problems in.
Um, I'm gonna ask you about this later. I just want to touch base, but you actually you were the one that brought this to my attention, the Chuck E. Cheese pizza thing. But anyway, I'll talk to you about that later. The the reuse what I don't know. They may reuse their pizza or not.
Right.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about that right now. Maybe we'll talk about that off podcast. But if people need to check out maybe whether or not Chuck E. Cheese is reusing the pizza. But anyway, because that's just something I got into in the last week. But is there any mall that you've documented on your travels? First off, what's the farthest you've ever traveled to document a mall, a dead mall?
Um As far as like actual miles, I don't know, but I've done quite a few in Arizona, obviously, because that's where I live. But
Yeah.
I've also documented stuff all over Southern California, and then New Mexico also. Like the Albuquerque might be the furthest. Albuquerque, New Mexico, maybe the furthest I've gone. Probably like
Eric, has there ever been a mall, like anything that's been shut down, where you actually totally, that you really do feel a little bit sad? Like, or not even a little bit, like a lot sad that it's shut down?
yeah. Besides Fiesta Mall, just because that was kind of a childhood mall. There's one that I filmed in San Diego, California, called Horton Plaza. And that one is a really interesting mall, like architecturally.
Yeah.
It's bizarre. I don't even it's I had a friend call it the Dr. Seuss Mall, just because of the way it's laid out and everything. It was built. I'm trying to think when it opened exactly, but I think it was the early '80s that it opened. And there's just a lot of really interesting architecture. It's kind of an outdoor mall where everything faces into like a center court, and then it goes up like 6 floors.
That's
And
amazing.
I remember going there in the early 2000s when I took a trip like right after high school with some friends, and it was busy, neon everywhere, like all kinds of interesting tile mosaics. It's just quintessentially like 80s, this mall. Um, and then when I started doing this retail archaeology thing, I found out that was, and it's like right in the heart of downtown San Diego, and I found out that was one that was really struggling. So my family and I were on a trip anyways over to San Diego. So,
Mhm.
and I'll pop over there and take a look. And it was just like completely, I mean, the mall wasn't different, but like the feel and the vibe and everything was completely different than when I had been in there in the early 2000s. And I went there one other time to San Diego and filmed around there since then. And it's actually now closed. And I don't know exactly to what extent they're remodeling it, but the plan is to turn it into like a mixed use, like business campus, with like offices and stuff and
Yeah.
some like retail and food and stuff on the bottom. But
Yeah.
it bums me out that it's closed because it is really the most interesting mall I've ever been in as far as
It's
just
too
like looking
bad.
at
It's too bad.
neon and stuff. Yeah.
That's like, I live right on the border of the states, upstate New York. And I can be in upstate New York in 5 minutes, but I don't have my passport. I need to get it. But anyway, um, there's a mall over across the border in Messina, and it's like the malls are so hurting right now. You can rent a space for like nothing. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like I tweeted one time, I'm like, you know what? All these vaporwave artists should just to get together and everyone have their own like storefront. You know what I mean? Just sell tapes out of there because like they're dying to stay alive. Like some of the stuff that you see in malls now, um, that just they shouldn't really even be storefronts. You know what I mean? But if they're doing it for $200 or $300 a month rent or whatever, they're just trying to keep the lights on. You know what I mean?
I had heard there, I forget where it was, but I saw a news report about a mall, and I want to say it was in New York, maybe, or somewhere where they were offering new tenants like a year free rent. All they had to
That
do was pay
that happened here too in
utilities.
Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Kind of makes you want to go to the mall and open up a little store. But I mean, no one goes to the mall. Like,
Yeah, I've thought about it. Like, I just want to open it, like get a bunch of old arcade games and just open an old
mhm.
school arcade because there's not a lot of those left around. They're kind of starting to pop up again, but that's something I joked about all the time is like just getting a cheap mall storefront and putting a bunch of old arcade games in there. And
Yeah, there's one guy in town here actually that has a whole bunch of old consoles and computer games and stuff, and he tried to do that. And I don't know what happened with that with city council, but he didn't end up getting a storefront, and it's too bad. I donated a laptop to him, like a vintage laptop. You should see this guy's collection anyway. Um, Another question I have for you, Eric, is did you get into vaporwave because of before or after you started doing the retail archaeology?
it was like it was at the same time. It was like right when I started doing
Yeah,
it. You start doing
you
research
find
and
out what it, like right at the same time. It's like,
exactly. And I was like, holy shit, this stuff is great. So
I have to ask. I have to ask this. Um, have what's going like? Have people like said that you're trying to like rip off Dan Bell or anything like that?
I've gotten a few comments like that. I actually I don't get that as much as other people do
Hmm.
who do these kind of videos, which is I guess a good thing. I'm actually very lucky. I don't get a lot of like, bad comments. I get some like everybody, but um I it's one of those things where it's just like I used to do retro gaming videos. There's tons of people that do retro gaming stuff. Like not
Yeah,
one person owns that genre, but you just kind of have to find your own voice. And Dan and I chat sometimes. Dan actually watches my stuff. I watch his stuff and everything. So
that's
we're
awesome.
yeah, we're totally cool with each other. And so I laugh when people are like, "Oh, you're a Dan Bell clone." It's like, well, no. I mean, yeah, we cover the same topic, but I try to
Hmm.
put my own
Yeah, see,
spin on it and
I heard
everything.
of
Yeah.
Dan Bell before I heard of you, and I liked I like his videos a lot. The the one thing about his videos, like another dirty room or whatever that he has,
Hmm.
like like a little spin-off. I like I like the idea of it, but I can't watch it myself just because it's so gross. Like,
Yeah, there's been a few episodes where I've been like, oh, that's just too nasty.
yeah,
Like,
it's like it's so nasty. I can't even like, my fiance's like, turn it off. Like you're looking at like, dirty mattresses and stuff, and it's like anyway, it's hilarious stuff. But
it's made it hard to travel too because I just recently got back from Pasadena, California, and so now I find myself checking things a lot more than I did when
okay, yeah,
when
for
I
sure.
check into
Yeah,
a
you got
room.
to check
Yeah,
for bed bugs and stuff like that. And,
right. Yeah.
um, yeah, so you know what? I want to keep this podcast short because in Carta Talks, I want to keep it kind of bite-sized. But I think that we kind of touched on what you do, the videos that you're doing. By the way, how many subscribers do you have right now on
Hold on, let me
YouTube?
grab my phone and I can tell you.
I'll tell you right now too. Hold on, you have 58,828 subscribers. Wow. So you're almost at 60,000 subscribers.
Yeah, getting pretty close.
Are you,
Kind of
does
freaks
that,
me
does
out a
that
little
like
bit.
freak you out sometimes? Like,
Yeah, it does. It does
it would
because
freak me out.
before when I was making videos and it was just, 10 oh there's, 10ish thousand people, but now it's like, oh, I maybe need to, watch what I say and do a little bit more research, just to make sure I'm not
Yeah, for
sounding like
sure.
an idiot to that number of people.
That's crazy, dude. Like 60,000 subscribers almost. Like, wow.
Yeah, just to put it into perspective, the second channel that I have, which was my first channel that I've been using, and I think it's at 3,600 right now or somewhere around
Wow.
there. So, and that's
Well,
actually
any
a
subscribers is
2 year
good.
older. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. And thank you, by the way, for using my music in a video. I'm gonna get you some more music to use.
Oh, thank you for letting me use it. I appreciate it. It's great stuff. So,
Well, I'm gonna do some more like you know, vaporwave stuff rather than my last album was kind of, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thank you for using it. But anyway, thank you so much, Eric, for talking to me, and I really appreciate it. And I wish you all the best with your channel and Retail Archaeology. Please go check it out right now on YouTube. And yeah, man. Oh, and all by the way, you released a floppy disk with me on StrudelSoft too. I didn't.
yeah,
And thank you.
I'm big into retro, especially retro game music. Like I like a lot of
Yeah.
those, like you use I can never say the names right, but like Yuzo Koshiro and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, um, I kind of at one point was running out of music to use in my videos, so I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go take some stuff and try and make some myself to use. So
Well, next time you do an album, let me know and we'll do another floppy.
sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.